Guys, so last week I asked you to ask me some questions and you did. Here are some answers from Twitter, from my Facebook page, from Instagram and just from some emails that I've gotten as well. So keep watching if you want to hear the answers to the questions that you asked me. First, off to Twitter. Keith Kelly 28 asks, do you still have any symptoms or flare-ups? I've been very lucky not to have any symptoms since the big Crohn's flare-up from 2009. I am on immunosuppressant drugs now called azathioprine, and that seems to control everything quite well. I get it monitored just to see if there's any fluctuations in my white blood cell count, but yeah, other than that I've not had any flare-ups or symptoms, so keep your fingers crossed that I don't have any more, because I really don't want to have to go through what I went through last time. Alvin Pycrest asks, can you wear a Brava belt in the shower? Now, Brava belt is one of the belts that Coloplast do. It's similar to most other sort of ostomy belts, just a skinny white one. And yes, you can wear it in the shower. It's not waterproof, but you can wear it in the shower. It's just that obviously it will be wet afterwards, so you'd have to dry it off. Now, one suggestion is you have two belts, so you have one for wearing while the other one's drying off, like during the day, or I don't wear mine in the shower, but I'll tend to have one that I wear and then one in the wash, so that I always have one ready to sort of wear once the other one's kind of got dirty or wet. Now Brian at Stomacloak has got two questions. Number one, do you have any concerns about the management of your ostomy on your wedding day? I don't really worry about it now. I think that's because I've been bridesmaid twice for other people, so I have been, you know, involved in a sort of a long day and formal dress, and if anything it was probably worse for back then, because I was thinking, oh my god, what if I ruin their day, and what if I ruin the dress that they've got me, you know. And actually nothing went wrong and I had a great time, and then the next time I was a bridesmaid I was less scared because I know, well, I've done it before, it'll be fine. And again, you know, the whole day went fine. And then now that I'm planning my own wedding, I'm like, well, I've been bridesmaid twice, nothing's happened then. I've had 3 years where nothing's really majorly gone wrong. You know, and I always think to myself, well, it's my wedding day. If I need to go and get changed, or if I need to go and do something, it doesn't matter, it's my day, I can do what I want, I'm the bride. What I was thinking is maybe taking an extra dress, just in case something does happen. If nothing happens, then fine, I've just got a nice extra dress that I have for summer. Brian's second question was, which fellow ostomates inspire you? Now, when I first had my surgery, I kind of stumbled across a YouTube channel called UCVLogs. I think it stands for United Colon Vlogs. And there was a guy on there called Dennis, and he just did all these videos about life with an ostomy, so showering with an ostomy, driving with an ostomy, clothes, changing the appliance, and even to the point where it's like what sounds you're likely to hear and how things feel, and it's like stuff that not always your stomach nurse will know firsthand. A lot of it is kind of stuff that he's obviously learnt over the last however long he'd had his ostomy, and it was nice to get that perspective from him as an ostomate himself. His video was kind of the reason why I wanted to do my own videos. He definitely inspired me to join YouTube and to kind of start talking about stuff, because I found it so beneficial from a patient's point of view, and I thought if that can make me feel more normal, then maybe I could do the same for someone else. Another ostomate who inspires me is Jess Grossman. Now I believe she's Canadian, and she is part of the Uncover Ostomy campaign. I love her because she just totally like demolishes that stereotype of only old people have ostomies, because I think she had an ostomy from quite a young age, so she's grown up with an ostomy, and who is successful, who is, you know, wanting to achieve all these things, and she's not going to let her ostomy stop her. I just find that so inspiring, and it's again that kind of gave me the kind of push to achieve stuff that maybe before I didn't think I could. And actually, you know, you look at this girl and it's like, actually if she can do it, then maybe I can too, and I am doing these things. So yeah, Jess is a big inspiration of mine as well. Now, a question from Instagram. Nicole Breton asks, do you use Imodium, and if you do, when? I've never used Imodium. My Crohn's disease never really caused me to have things like diarrhea type symptoms. It was always just painful, and then losing a lot of weight, and then blood, and even sort of to the point where food was going in and then coming out exactly the same. Like no digestion at all, but never really diarrhea symptoms. I think I did a little bit, but not to the point where I've needed to use Imodium, so I'm sorry, I've never had that experience. And now over to my email. By the way, if you want to email me, please do. My email address is here. What was the support like from your stoma nurse, and do you still deal with your stoma nurse now? The stoma nurses in the hospital were fantastic, and they were very patient. I had quite a complicated, well, the surgery was pretty straightforward, I think, but the recovery of it was just horrendous, and it ended up that my midline incision popped open, and because I was so like tiny at the time, you know, I was very thin, so everything was overlapping, and to the point where my sort of midline wound was like that wide, and the appliance was sat right next to it. In fact, they had to kind of cut the edge of the bag because it was just overlapping this massive kind of gash. It was kind of a complicated case, and the stoma nurses were amazing. They were really, really supportive and really fantastic. It was only after I was discharged to the stoma nurses back home where things just weren't quite clicking. It was nothing personal, you know, the stoma nurse was lovely, but she just wasn't able to find the solutions to the problems I was having. You know, I had a pointing down stoma, a long story, but basically, because my stoma was pointing down, there was irritation, and that irritation got worse and worse, and basically caused a hole in my skin, and then it was kind of created this tiny little fistula where the output from the stoma would go down under the skin and then out again on this other opening, and it got worse and worse and worse, and then this sort of hole in my skin just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and she just didn't know what to do. She kind of thought it was pyoderma, but then it wasn't. It was purely just because my stoma was pointing down. So long story short, I ended up going on the UOAA discussion forums because I really didn't know what else to do, and I thought, well, someone who's got an ostomy must know something that will work to help stop this. And I went on there and I explained everything. I did little diagrams, and they were able to help me. And thanks to those fellow ostomates, I love you by the way, everyone on that discussion board is awesome. But yeah, they were able to find a solution that my stoma nurse couldn't. And now I get letters from my GP saying, oh, you need your annual checkup with your stoma nurse, and I'm like, really? What's the point? You know, I'm a bit kind of cynical now, and I'm guessing a lot of the healthcare professionals right now are going, no, you have to go and see your stoma nurse now. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, I feel like, what's the point? Everything's working now, why rock the boat? You see what I mean? Everything looks fine, everything seems to be working, I'm not ill. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a faff. Do your changes of appliances get easier? Well, when I was in hospital, the stoma nurse kind of did the first change, and I couldn't even look. I didn't even want to look at it. I was kind of in denial. I didn't really like what was happening to me. I really just didn't care, and I didn't want to look at it and didn't really pay attention and just let it happen. The second, third and fourth time I started kind of peeking every now and then. You need to be able to do a self-change before they'll let you go home, before they'll release you into the wild. And I managed to do it on my own. It was fine, but I still didn't quite know what I was doing. Not really. I remember the steps, and actually the first night home I had an absolutely horrendous time where, as I mentioned before, my midline incision and my bag were very close together, and I ended up going home, first night back from hospital, first night home in, you know, a month, and my bag leaked into my midline incision, so the output from the stoma was now sat in raw tissue. It was kind of traumatic for the first night home. You kind of don't really want to have to deal with that. It was the most horrific moment of my life. Well, no, there's been several, but that was one of them. So I literally was like, okay, not only do I have to change my bag, but I now need to change my dressing. My bag was here, and then my midline dressing was on top. So I had to change the appliance myself, first night back. and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, because it wasn't just the appliance, it was everything, it was the dressing as well. And luckily I'd had so many bloody dressing changes that I knew exactly what I was doing. My mum, completely traumatised, because she hadn't really seen it all, and she had to then see her daughter change her own dress, because bear in mind this was about 11 o'clock at night, so no one was going to come and help me. So I had to change it myself. I swear to God, it was, my midline was that, in fact I'll show you. Okay, so my midline was here, and that wide, and about that deep. It was horrific. It was so, it was so scary. I couldn't, it was just a lot to deal with. And bear in mind I was on a lot of painkillers, and I think I was a little bit floaty anyway, so I didn't really know what was going on. It was traumatic. So you know when you say, oh, what's the worst that can happen? Literally, the worst thing that could happen happened on the first night home. And I'm like, well, every day now has got to be better than this, because I've just had to change my own dressing whilst there's crap in my open wound. Yeah, it kind of went uphill from that moment. And so the dressing changes got easier, and the bag changes got a lot easier, and when everything, like when my midline healed up, the bag changes themselves kind of got quicker and quicker. At first it'd be like 45 minutes where I'd be doing all this change, and because I've got 2 stomas, so there's doing both of them. Now 5 minutes doing the prep, so like cutting all the bits, like cutting the hole out of the bag, setting everything up, and then 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes max. And that's leisurely, that's whilst watching videos on YouTube. I have to have my entertainment when I'm doing it. I can't just do it on like when it's quiet, that's just boring. Some people watch TV, some people listen to the radio. Chris sometimes comes in and chats to me while I'm doing it, kind of sees how Stan is, because he's like some kind of pet. So it will go quicker. I used to hate having to do a change. I used to dread it, and I used to think, oh my God, it's that day. Oh, some people are still like that, but for me now, it's just like, oh yeah, got to do the ironing, got to do the washing up, got to change my bag, got to clean the bathroom. It's just the thing now. It's part of my life and part of Chris's life. It's usually quite regular. It's usually on a Monday and either a Thursday or a Friday. That's it. Unless I'm doing something special, when I'll alternate the day and mix it up a bit, but most of the time, yeah, that's when it is. So it kind of just becomes second nature. You kind of learn to live with it all. And the last question is, what kind of clothes do you wear? Now, I've always really loved the combination of leggings and a dress, or jeans and a dress, or jeggings and a dress. So even before my operation, I loved that. I mean, I did used to wear jeans with a belt, and it used to be low rise, and literally where my stoma is now, that would be where I had my waistband. So I've had to adjust that sort of thing. I don't really wear jeans anymore, but I will wear jeggings, and I'll wear like a nice floaty top or a dress. It's kind of encouraged me more to wear dresses out now rather than just jeans and t-shirt. It's kind of made me dress up more. So yeah, so for work I'll wear leggings and a dress, and accessorise really. If you're conscious, you can either go for a slightly looser fitting top. Just play around, just see what you can try. A lot of shops, a lot of online clothes shops will, you can try things on and then send them back, so you can always just order a load of stuff and then return them, if they don't quite fit. If you feel a bit too conscious about going out into like a clothes store and going into the dressing room, if you're kind of worried something will happen, or if you kind of just don't want to, a lot of the time I just can't be arsed. So sometimes it's nice to just order clothes, try them on at home in your own time, and then if you don't like it, just send it back. So that's just a little tip. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any other questions, please feel free to get in touch. It's all the usual contacts. You got email, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, or you can obviously leave a comment below and just send me any questions and let me know what you think. And that's it. I will see you in my next video. Bye.